Okay, so the Pelicans beat the Suns in game 2, 125-124, and the biggest story of the entire game is the fact that Devin Booker injured his hamstring. And truthfully, I feel like the Suns still should be able to beat the Pelicans without Devin Booker, but this could be a potential disaster. And then, as I watched that unfold and it happened, I was just, man, it just resonated in my head. I'm like, man, this seems to be the story with majority of the playoffs I've seen in the past years. Last year, 2021, Anthony Davis goes down. Not that the Lakers are going to win a championship, but Anthony Davis goes down. I think he hurt his hamstring or his groin. Kawhi Leonard went down too. Also, fucked up his knee. I think he tore his ACL. 2019, Kevin Durant goes down. 2018, Chris Paul goes down. 2019, Kevin Durant goes down with tears his Achilles. 2018, Chris Paul fucks up his hamstring. Not that I thought they would have won anyways against the Warriors, but hey, it is what it is. Because the very next year they had the opportunity to win, to run it back against the Warriors. They didn't get the job done. But if Devin Booker's gonna miss extended period of time, like the Suns should be able to beat the Pelicans without Devin Booker. Would I be surprised if they don't? Yeah, I would, honestly. So. Because I feel like at that point, because like mind you, the Pelicans got into the playoffs through a play-in game, but I don't think that they are necessarily a play-in team. Because I mean, I feel like this team right here that they currently have right now wins more. Like I feel like they had CJ McCollum the entire season and Larry Nance and the roster they have now. I feel like they would have won way more games than they won as is. But in the 14 games. Because this isn't the first time Devin Booker injures his hamstring. In the 14 games that the Suns played without Devin Booker, they were 8-6. So, and one thing I want to say and point out is I just don't like the Suns' mentality and the way they've been playing the past 2 games. I feel like, they need a mentality shift because they're lacking. I feel like yesterday they played lackluster and parts of game 1 they took their foot off the gas. They were up double digits majority of the game, and then it got close in the fourth quarter. But I feel like that shouldn't be the case. I feel like, okay, look. So all this success that the Suns are seeing started in the bubble. Because remember, they went to the bubble. I feel like they won every game they played 8-0. There was no playing game, so they had to go home after that shit. Because if there was some sort of playing game, they would have made the playoffs and honestly would have played the Lakers. But there was no playing game. So they continued that success. They signed Chris Paul, and then last season, they were one of the top teams in the West, and they made it all the way to the NBA Finals to many people's surprise. And then this season, they continue with the same sort of success. And this year, win the most games in franchise history, number 1 seed, blase. But I just feel like in the 2 games that they've played in this playoff series, they haven't played with a sense of urgency the majority of the time, honestly, especially not yesterday, and especially not in game 1. Like it just doesn't seem like that's what happened. And then honestly, if Devin Booker is gonna miss an extended period of time, the Suns can kiss. First of all, I don't think the Suns are gonna win the championship anyways. I feel like the Warriors will beat them in the Western Conference Finals. I feel like the Warriors will beat them, and I feel like the Warriors are the only team in the West that will beat the Suns. The Suns will beat any other team in the West. The Suns will beat the Grizzlies. The Suns will beat any other team, but the Suns. I don't think the Suns can beat the Warriors, and I already said that. I already said why. But if Devin Booker misses an extended period of time, the Suns are going to get bounced. I don't think the Suns are good enough to withstand like him missing a bunch of games. And bro, based on Devin Booker's body language, it doesn't look too good. Honestly, it does not look too good at all. But I wanted to get to Pelicans because the Pelicans are the ones who won the story, ones who won the game. The story, the story of the game is going to be, oh wow, well Devin Booker got hurt, blah blah blah. That's why the Suns lost. But the Suns were in a dogfight, a competitive game, even when he got hurt. When he got hurt, the score was 77-74. They were down by 3. And what the real story of the should be is the fact that the New Orleans Pelicans, who are a play-in team, were able to beat one of the best teams in the NBA, a 60-plus win team. I don't expect the Pelicans to win the series, but they really proved a lot, and they really proved that they belong in this situation. Because for those of you guys who don't remember, the Pelicans started off 1-12. That's probably one of the worst. I don't even know what the stat is on that. That's probably one of the worst starts in NBA history. Started off 1-12. They didn't have Zion for the entire season, and I don't even think that was what's happened. But they made the playoffs, and now they're proving that they belong there. No matter how this series goes, whether they win and lose in 5, losing 6, losing 7, they should be ecstatic and very proud. And honestly, if Zion's not watching this and not inspired to play and wants to come back to New Orleans, I don't know what the fuck. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know what the fuck to say about that dude, because this doesn't make sense. I feel like that this team is looking really good without him. Even with him, they could look even better. I mean, with him next year, they could possibly be a top 3, 4, 5. You know, with Zion next year in this team, I feel like they're good enough to avoid the play-in. I personally, that's just what I think. But I want to shout out to the Pelicans front office, because, you know, like, that's what separates bad teams for good teams. I don't care what sport it is or anything like that. The people who are in charge and who are calling the shots, because if you think about it, majority of these players can play at a high level. It's about assembling the right team, getting the right coach, the right staff, all these different things, right? And the people that are upstairs are tasked with doing that. That's what separates good teams from bad teams. Look at the best teams in the NBA versus look at the worst teams in the NBA. Look at the best teams in the NFL versus look at the worst teams in the NFL. Look at the best teams in world soccer versus the worst teams in world soccer. All good teams have good people in the front office and upstairs calling great shots. It's simple as that. No other way to put it. Shout out to David Griffin for making the trade to get CJ McCollum and Larry Nance. Without that trade, the Pelicans do not make the playoffs or the play-in. And I want to give a shout out to Brandon Ingram, who played the best game of his life. And I said this in today's episode of the podcast, that the playoffs are about your best dudes being able to replicate the form that they had in the regular season. Can your best dudes play to their usual standard or increase their level of play? Because that's literally what it matters. That's literally what matters and literally what wins games in the playoffs. Brandon Ingram played and what's the word I'm looking for? And surpassed his regular season self. He had 37 points, 11 rebounds, and 9 assists. Nigga almost had a triple-double. Was 1 assist away from a triple-double. Best game I've ever seen him play. And on top of that, he was 3 for 3 from three-point line. CJ McCollum also almost had a fucking triple-double. So 23 points, 9 assists, and 8 rebounds. So you mean to tell me that the Pelicans' 2 best players went out and almost had triple-doubles? Come on now. Go ahead. Flock, nigga. Hey, shout out to the Pelicans for the great W, man.